Episode 67 of the Unscripted Company podcast, one of the fastest growing podcasts on the internet. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If it's not, welcome back. We've got a lot of topics we're going to cover this evening. You see Riley's got some notes. I got some notes on here. We got some hidden secret bases that the uber wealthy and the federal government built, apparently not too long ago. $21 trillion worth of a budget to build these secret bases. Riley, I see you got some news about Amazon buying some land, a MS-13 goon maybe sneaking back into the country. Some interesting news, to say the least. I even got some news, maybe we'll get around to it, about a raccoon smoking meth when a cop pulled over its owner. I don't know if you saw that in the news this week, but if it's your first time joining us, we typically start off with a question of the week. And Riley, I didn't even bother to ask you before you hopped on, but you got a question of the week for us, brother?
I do have a question for this week.
What you got?
If your reflection winked at you one day without you doing it, do you smash the mirror or become best friends with it?
Neither. There's got to be a third option in there. I'm not smashing the mirror because I think I become terrified, but I don't ignore it. I start to question my own reality and the existence of whatever, you start to question everything, right? At least from my perspective. Right now, I believe I'm a human sitting in Austin, Texas, and you are a human in Dallas, Fort Worth, and we are communicating with each other. But if my reflection in a mirror winked at me one day, I start to question everything. I think I would try to see if it would wink again or do something different. I might question if I had a temporary stroke, something like that. But I'm not going to smash the mirror because I need to investigate to see, can I replicate this, right? Like you got to use the scientific method, right? You got to ensure you go through the steps. It's been a little bit since I've been in high school to remember every specific step of the scientific method. But let me ask you, what do you do if your reflection winks back at you?
I don't know. I'm not going to smash the mirror. It's a one or the other. So you said you're not going to smash the mirror. So your only obvious choice at this point for this question and for the purpose of this recording is you would be best friends with it.
I guess so. Yeah. Because I would be so enthralled or intrigued by it. I think I would have to become best friends. The reflection is theoretically myself. So I could be best friends with myself. However, this does open the opportunity of, is a reflection really you? Is it an alternate version of you? Are there multiple realities at play here? Different universe? Is it, an as above, so below type scenario? You only experience it through a mirror, maybe? A lot of unknowns.
I mean, at the end of the day, the person in the mirror could be similar to that voice that, half the people have in their heads.
That is true. Man, wouldn't that be terrifying though? If one day you're going through the motions, right? You're getting ready in the morning, maybe you're shaving, brushing your teeth, and you do notice your reflection winks at you. And it's a very obvious wink. It's not like oh, hey, maybe, you saw something out of the corner of your eye. It's like, no, it's very clearly almost like I don't want to say like an evil wink, but
that you're just casually just brushing your teeth in the morning, just looking yourself in the face. And it just smiles at you and winks.
Let's go even darker. It doesn't wink. What if you notice the reflection just kind of goes like this and waves its hand, very robotic like, but like in a way of it knows you're watching it do it. And it's kind of like a power move of I'm something that's not you.
Again, I think I'd be okay with it. Like I would definitely be intrigued. I wouldn't be freaked out per se.
You wouldn't be freaked out like in the slightest? Like you can still be curious about it, want to learn more, but you wouldn't be freaked, scared, concerned in the slightest?
No. If it's something that's there to harm me, like at the end of the day, I mean, what am I going to do? Well, if it's available in any kind of mirror that I look at, that means anytime I'm driving down the road and I look in my rearview mirror, guess what? It's there.
What if you see yourself sitting in the backseat of the car, but you also see yourself in the driver's seat?
My point exactly. At that point, if it's there to hurt me and it's there to harm me, there's nothing I can do about it.
I've been thinking of I'm drawing a blank on the movie. It's one of the Jordan Peele movies that I don't want to say it was his first one, but it was the first one that kind of put him on the map as a writer, director. Maybe it was the second one because it wasn't Get Out. It was the one that came out after Get Out.
Hold on.
And I know it wasn't called As Above, So Below because that's a different scary movie.
Yeah, hold
But it was the movie where you had like the underneath. You know, everyone had like a version of themselves underneath.
Yeah, hold on.
It was almost like a body snatchers type situation. I forget the specifics, but I'm getting that kind of a vibe. If you're staring in a mirror and you see yourself wink back at you.
It's a horror movie, right?
Yeah, it's like a scary. I don't know if it's horror, but it's definitely like suspense thriller, scary.
Let's see. Okay, cool.
Is it called Split?
Let's see here. The movies that I'm only seeing on here is Get Out, No.
Us. It's Us.
Okay, so I figured it was Us. Because that's the only other movie that he had that was like a horror movie, I think.
Yeah, because there's like Nope, Us, and Get Out. He's probably working on something else or has something else too, but
yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, what's it going to do to be scared of it? Because I mean, if it's there to hurt you or in any kind of shape, form, or fashion, like low key, like I would straight up like I would buy a small mirror just to set it in my office, just so I could talk to myself. I know it sounds kind of weird, but
would you be? See, I guess when I say scared, I'm not scared of the reflection. I'm scared of what does that mean?
yeah,
Because clearly it's something that I'm not aware of. That's currently not explained. You know, like there's a different existence out there.
I don't know.
Either that or someone's pumping drugs in the water supply. I don't know. One of the two. Which that would be diabolical. That'd be some Joker level. That would be the Dark Knight level shenanigans there. So, with that, how's your week been, man?
It's okay. It was another week.
Another week.
Another day in paradise.
Another 7 days that end in Y.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a awards banquet.
Oh yeah, I mean, you've been talking about that the past couple of weeks. I think after we end the recording, typically, but you don't have to disclose too much. But was that at least a good time? I mean,
well, it was for the most part.
Hey, you were questioning even, guys. For the record, for those of you out there listening and watching, Riley and I talk about life sometimes, stuff that you don't want on a recording, but you should catching up throughout the week. And don't want to overstep, but there was one point where Riley was questioning, should he even go? Was it worth going? It was worth going, dude.
I wasn't even expecting it. Like I was, no matter if I got anything or not, because my name was the last name to get called for that level of award, because then it goes up from there, like based on production. But I mean, I was a multi-million-dollar producer last year.
Yeah.
And they were announcing people were coming up and getting their stuff. And I was still happy for everyone, cheering for everyone, or like clapping, everything like that, not expecting anything at all. And then they called my name and I was like, oh, and like, it was kind of weird. Cause like, I just didn't know how to react. Cause like, it's like, I want
a legitimate surprise.
Yeah. And I was kind of just like, cause you ever know, like you want the appreciation, but then you don't know how to handle the appreciation.
Yep.
That's me.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just used my defense mechanisms to avoid the appreciation of where I'm just like, yeah. But yeah, so I got that. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really expect it.
That's awesome, dude.
It was exciting. But now I'm just like, I've gotten one now, and it's already halfway through the year, and not a lot's happened. And I'm like, okay, I want another one now. Like, okay, so let's keep building on this, being consistent with it, and keep building. And so,
but hey, that is something, and we can definitely dive into this off the recording to get into like legitimate specifics.
Yeah.
But that's something you can put like on a business card, on a LinkedIn page. Top performer award winning.
It'll be on my buyer's guides and stuff like that, and it probably won't be on my business
email
card,
signatures, things like that.
Yeah, email signatures and everything. So one of my future goals is to get a real producer award, which is an award an award that you get from the state, essentially, where you're like in the top 500 agents in the DFW area and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And so I think Metrotex holds that award banquet. And then if you get on that levels, like I need to be like at least 6 to 7 million plus, give or take, maybe 5 million. I mean, with the amount of agents that we have, and a lot of agents don't really produce a whole lot during the year. because most agents statistically only sell like 1 to 4 homes a year.
That is crazy.
That's
I mean,
like the high
I believe
statistic.
that, but that's a crazy statistic.
Like last year, I think the top 1% of agents did more than 15 transactions. I think I was in the top 10%. I did 10 transactions last year.
Yeah.
And so it's very weird how they break it all down. But yeah, like the top 1% is typically those that do like the 5 million plus in production. And so originally my goal was 10 million, but like if I can at least hit 5 million for this year, then that'll give me another award next year. Not saying like that's the only reason I'm doing it, but that'll give me another award next year. It'll be another accolade to add on to that. But yeah, like I said, I didn't expect it, and I was happy when I got it. And but it was like I was happy that I got it, but I was also very like, I don't know, like.
Do you feel like it gives you like a weird amount of pressure now of like
That
you've been recognized? Okay, what's next?
Yeah, that and it's like, but the thing is, it was like a lot of people, like, after everything was done, a lot of people kind of just left. It's like nobody really talked, and so it's like, because at first I didn't think I was going to get mine, because when they had them made and they had them shipped, they didn't think mine was in the box. They couldn't find it, but then we went back in there and looked, and we found a box at the bottom that had mine in it.
Yeah.
So it was just odd, but yeah, a lot of people, like, not that I was looking for the congratulations from anyone at the brokerage per se, but people clapped and stuff like that as per usual. But I just kind of left well enough alone. I wasn't kind of looking for anything like that. Not that I wouldn't have appreciated it, but I just kind of wasn't looking for it.
Yeah.
For me on my own, like I didn't think I was ever really going to get anything. Like no matter how hard I worked, like I didn't really think I was going to get something. And so, not saying that because they would have had other awards banquets, but I just, in my mind, I'm like, I wasn't really like prepared or thinking about the award until they even mentioned the award ceremony. Then I was like, oh, again, we'll dive deeper into it later, but just kind of wasn't thinking about it. And it happened. I mean, I'm happy. I really am. And it's something I can put on my stuff to show people like, hey, like I'm a top producer in our brokerage. And so now it's just looking forward to the last 7 months of this year to try to make something happen and really build upon stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Nice. No, that's exciting, dude. Definitely happy for you. Those of you out there listening, throw ones in the chat. That seems like a thing live streamers do, right? They say a number and they say throw it in the chat. So ones in the chat. Or put an R. Or just type Riley or type words. Make a comment like a normal human.
Yeah. And if you're looking, again, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm ready to work. I do this full time. So I'm definitely ready to, for anyone who's looking. I know people say like, well, it's not the right time, but what does the right time look like for you? And that's something I can help you determine. That's something if it's the next 5 months, 6 months, a year, I can help you determine that. So
Dallas Fort Worth's a pop in place.
Yes, sir. What about you?
Yeah, man. So I mean, pretty simple week in terms of like work and whatnot. But yesterday, Saturday, man, I am entering the Hank Hill phase of my life now that we have a home. So I'm gonna throw this up real quick. This photo right here. There's a story behind this photo. So this is a photo of a irrigation container and valve cover. So for those of you who are just in audio land, these are those like green plastic covers you see in like lawns, whether it be commercial, residential, things like that. So this weekend, Saturday, mowing the lawn, treating it, all that fun stuff. I thought maybe I had the lawnmower high enough where I could kind of drive over these things and not be too worried about it. Well, first one I ran over, like clockwork, boom, hit it, broke it. I was like, all right, whatever. I know they sell these things at Home Depot and Lowe's and all your, home good type stores. And I was like, all right. So after I get done with the rest of some of the chores, I'm like, you know what? Let me go buy one of these. So before I leave, I get out my handy dandy tape measure. I measure the diameter because that's how they size these things, the diameter of the circle. And I notice it's like 6 3/4 inches. I'm like, okay. So I start to search for like 7-inch round valve covers. And both at Lowe's and Home Depot, I only see 6-inch and 10-inch. Those are the only two sizes I see. I'm like, okay, maybe it's the 6-inch one, but they just do some weird sizing thing where it's technically a little over 6 inches, but it's a standard 6-inch because if Home Depot and Lowe's have these by the hundreds, but they only carry 6 and 10 inches, it's got to be the 6-inch, right? So I go to Lowe's, and I go to Lowe's first just because we've kind of sold our soul to Lowe's, because when we first got the house, that's where we bought all the paint, got on their credit system and all that fun stuff. Well,
Credit
Lowe's was
cards,
out
man.
of, I know, dude.
You
I
made a
know.
mistake, man. You got
I
another
know.
credit card.
I know, but it is convenient. Like it's all paid off and we keep it up, but it comes in handy because it's like 5% off, or if it's like a big purchase, you can do 12 months interest free. So like if we ever decide to replace the fridge or like an appliance goes out, it could come in clutch for interest free 12 months, something like that.
I'd probably do the same thing too. Same with Home. I've already been getting offers for the Home Depot credit card, and I don't shop there that often, but because of my credit, they're like, you can do this. And I'm like, I don't need it.
Yo, it was wild. The first night we actually went to Lowe's after we closed to buy paint. That's when we applied, because they always do the bonuses of like when you apply, they'll take like 20% off whatever you're buying at that time. And when I'm filling out the application in the store, they're like, oh yeah, you get approved for like $35,000 worth of credit. And in my head, I'm like, why? Why are you giving me I don't need $35,000 worth of credit. Like, I just need a couple thousand. I'm not even going to spend it, but like, you don't need to like
at most, you'd probably need like maybe $5,000.
Yeah. I'm like, this is a slippery slope. So long story short, actually, it's not even going to be short. I'm just getting into the story. I go to Lowe's first, and Lowe's is totally out of these things. I'm like, of course. And the funny thing was, earlier that day, I actually saw a TikTok where some guy was like, oh yeah, you need to go to Home Depot, but you decide not to. So you go to Lowe's, and then you find out Lowe's is out of it. So you have to go to Home Depot anyways. That was my story. So I went to Lowe's. They're out of it. I go to Home Depot. I see these there. They have a ton of them. I'm like, okay, let me buy 2. I'll buy 1 to replace in one, just because, let's be honest, I'm probably going to accidentally run over one again at some point. It'll be nice to have one in the garage. Get that. I come home. I get ready to put it on there. It's too small. Doesn't even sit on top. It sinks right into it. And I'm like, hold on a second. So first of all, my measurements were correct. It was like 6 3/4. And I'm just like, okay, I got to be missing something here. So I'm like scouring the Lowe's app, the Home Depot app, Amazon. Like, I'm looking all over your typical places you'd buy something, and no one has these 6 3/4 or 7-inch size things. And so I'm like, okay, let me mix up my search here. So trying to buy something, let me see, like, someone had to have had this problem before, because I noticed the 6-inch replacement covers I bought actually fit perfectly on the city water covers. So like where you have the main water, the city water hookup, those are exactly 6 inches, and those fit like a glove. And I'm like, okay, something's different about these. Like what's going on here? And so I find a couple of Reddit posts where people are asking a similar question. Like they have like, yo, mine's like 7 inches, mine's like 5 1/4 inches, like all these weird sizing. Come to find out, these lawn maintenance and irrigation companies, they like to use these very obscure sized covers
to force you to go buy it from them.
Exactly. They know you can't go to Home Depot and Lowe's to buy it. And Lowe's and Home Depot, like they carry the standard ones, the 6 and 10 inch, but they don't carry these like really obscure sizes. And I understand
it. It'd be cheaper to go there to buy them instead of going through the companies that sell. They're monopolizing it essentially.
Yes. And so I look up the cost of one of these things. It's like 20-something bucks for one. And I'm like, okay, for context, if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, these 6-inch ones or the 10-inch, they're like $3. Plus, if you get the ones that come with the lid and the container with it, it's only $6.
Yep.
And so I'm sitting here at Home Depot. So I went back to Home Depot to return the lids I purchased, because I'm like, I don't need these. And when I'm sitting there at Home Depot reading through these Reddit posts, the most common advice was just say screw it to the irrigation companies, buy a 6-inch one, dig out the other one, and replace it. In my head at the time, that sounded super easy. So I was like, okay, so I buy that, I get home. These things, pardon my French, they are a bitch to dig out, because at this point, the soil was a bit wet and the mud had like caked in around it. It's not like you just dig around it, you just pull it out. Like, man, you got to get in there to dig it out. Long story short, I get sunburned. It takes me like, I'm not even kidding, like maybe about 2 hours to dig this thing out. I don't know if it voided any warranties. I'm going to cross my fingers, because good thing is if I run over it again, I can go replace the cap for $3 at Home Depot now.
So here's the thing though, if you put based on that picture right there, if you put that dirt back exactly where you need it at, the grass is going to grow back into it. It's going to look like you didn't even do it in the first place. Now, I will say this though, if that one circular part to the left of it is the one that you pulled out originally,
Yep.
they may notice that if you ever have any issues.
Oh yeah,
But
they will.
it's just let's just pray that you don't have any future issues that would require that on the warranty for them to come back out and take. When you
The good part is the one that I actually took out. So you can see in the photo, there's one like just kind of north of it.
Yeah.
The one I pulled out though had no wiring or anything because like the house came with like an irrigation like lawn system.
Yeah.
And thankfully this one, it just has PVC running through it. The other ones all have like active wiring and electric running through it. So thankfully this one, I don't think will ever have to be serviced for any reason. Hopefully none of it does, cross my fingers.
If it's just irrigation, unless they're doing just maintenance work in that neighborhood, then it won't have to be. But most of the time when they have to do irrigation work like that, very rarely is it at any one specific house. It's usually an issue that's like further closer to the main line that they have to do the work on. So cross fingers, you know.
Yeah, but just like you said, yeah, I actually have or had some like sand, like for playgrounds. We have I don't know if I have a photo of it. We have a porch goose. I don't know if you've seen these. They're kind of viral. So we have a porch goose and I had to fill it with sand at one point. But when I went to go buy sand for that, like Home Depot and Lowe's, they don't sell small things of sand. So the minimum thing is like a 5-gallon bag of sand.
Oh yeah.
And so I had like 4.5 gallons worth of sand just sitting in the garage. And so I used sand to kind of fill it in. And then I went in the backyard in the far corner up by the house that isn't the side of the fence that has the gate. So no one ever walks back there or will ever walk back there. I just took a square of the sod and kind of wrapped it around to fill in the holes with this. So wipe my hands of it. It's all good. But long story short, lesson to anyone out there who's going to potentially need a replacement cap for their irrigation systems, just go to Home Depot, dig it out, get the 6-inch, because a lot easier to replace these things for $3 rather than like 20-something bucks. And you know, you got to go through some weird custom company to acquire one of these things.
Yeah, the joys of home ownership. The thing is like I'm excited for that. Like I'm a person that's like I don't mind having to fix stuff or do things because like I watch a lot of video, like, you know, home remodeling type videos and people doing like the craziest like jerry rigging stuff, but it works. Like it doesn't even look like they're jerry rigging. It looks like just how you would naturally do it. So yeah, I don't know.
No, this weekend was like definitely like homeowner mode where I didn't get to stain the fence yet because it looked like it was going to rain and I needed to stay dry. But like I mowed the front and the backyard, I fertilized the front and the back, I remulched this like flower garden thing in the front. I changed out our doorknob and the deadbolt because it came with like the stock builder one. We went to Lowe's, and, like, bought a nicer looking one, swapped that thing out, patched some holes of where like nails got ran in and they probably shouldn't have been ran in places. And
like in your ceiling?
No, well, actually, yeah, one was a nail pop of the house settling and filled that in. But no, this was like there were a couple places like in our laundry room. We had put some anchored screws in there, hoping to hold something. We're trying to run like a clothesline in the laundry room to like dry clothes that needed to just hang dry, but it couldn't support the weight. So ended up pulling out the anchors and just filling up the hole with some spackling and stuff. So. Man, I've learned so much. Oh yeah, also like hung a chandelier this afternoon, all that fun stuff. So I'm learning a lot, to say the least.
Yeah, one of these days I'll be there. Hopefully,
you will.
We'll see.
100%. You are a top performer. What was the name of the word?
Top producer.
Top producer, man. You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there, man. So. Yeah. We got some news, just like looking through our list of topics we can go through. Do you want to kick one off? Do you want me to kick one off? Is there one that sticks out to you?
I mean, we can honestly just for to maybe ensure that we could probably get through majority of these, if not all of them. Let's try to go through like the easiest and like I don't want to say like the simplest, but the easiest ones to get through. So we got the raccoon. We got I'm trying to see what the other ones were that I had, but I couldn't tell what the articles were.
I can get us kicked off with the raccoon real quick because this one's a short one. So this is from Colin Rugg on Twitter. A lot of people were posting about this too. It kind of went super viral. I think most people saw this on almost all social media platforms. It says, a pet raccoon busted trying to smoke meth through a glass pipe during a traffic stop. Leaves police officer in hysterics. It says Chewy the raccoon was spotted trying to smoke one last hit of meth after his owner got pulled over during a traffic stop in Springfield, Ohio. We actually have a video here, funny enough, so I'm going to play this real quick.
Hello? The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my God. Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe right now. No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have
Well,
it.
Huh? It's okay. Okay, you're on honest. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my office.
Is that what that
A
is?
few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what she's smoking meth in.
Okay.
The raccoon's playing with her meth pipe.
All right.
That awkward moment as a police officer where you still kind of have to be professional and keep your composure, but
All right.
when else are you going to see a raccoon trying to smoke meth?
There's no way.
Like I do kind of like. Here's the thing. It's sad to me that, again, to each their own, and I'm not here to judge anybody, but a woman that age smoking meth, like, come on now. But but it's sad because it's just like. I don't know. Like I thought the same thing. Like the cop has to be professional, but that was pretty funny because I remember seeing that earlier this week, and the woman. It's funny though because the woman just like tries to reach for it. She's like, I don't want him to have it. It's like
Right, right. Priorities. Like I pay good money for that. I need that.
That's my meth.
If you're about to arrest me, I need that.
That's meth up.
Yes, it is. Springfield, Ohio, at its finest. At its finest.
So let me see here. So I had a couple. I'm trying to see which one would technically be because I actually have an update for a story that we've been kind of talking about for the past like few weeks. Actually,
what do you got? Yeah, you can give us that update.
The Carmelo Anthony story. So last update that we gave last week was there wasn't really much of an update, but the family was about to receive I want to say it's a huge chunk of change, but let's be honest, in today's economy, not so much.
Hey, it was like $500K though, right?
It's $500,000.
That's a good chunk of change.
In Frisco, Texas, not so much. That will go quick.
I know, but like, hey, if you had the option to get $500K,
if I had $500K that was just dropped off at my doorstep, like
that is a chunk of change.
I would turn that into a couple million, hopefully. But they finally made a decision on what they were going to do with the money. That was kind of the big question. We were kind of talking about that last week, hinting as to what they would do with it. Just because, their son, and they kind of hinted at paying for legal fees with it. We didn't really know. Their son is currently at an undisclosed location, the one that's on trial. And then the husband and wife, who may or may not still be working at their physical job locations, or unless they're working from home, still have rent to pay, and the rent is about $3,500 to $4,000 a month, give or take.
It's a lot.
It's a big house, though.
I know.
It's a big house in a nice neighborhood. So they kind of covered what was happening. He claimed to have done it as self-defense. So while Anthony has been arrested, many of his community have been speaking out in support of him and his family. More than $500,000 have been raised for support too. I will say, let me just kind of phrase this in a way. So with the victim of the incident that happened, it's not that we're not covering that, but because there haven't been any updates on that. I haven't seen anything on that. Like, unfortunately, no one's been talking about their family. They're only talking about the one who actually did the stabbing. Again, we're not picking favorites here, but this is just the best that we can do to cover what's kind of happening as we're going along. But I will do some research, and if we can find anything on what's happening, we will definitely talk about that next week.
I have an assumption based on the legal teams assembled on both sides. I have a feeling we're not going to hear anything from the other side until the court case. Yeah,
I have, and it'll be at the end of June or beginning of June, I think. So it won't be for like another month. So his family representative, Dominique Alexander, spoke out. I believe the Anthony family feels that, yes, Carmelo Anthony is innocent of this, and they're going to support Carmelo Anthony in this entire process and getting prepared. Anthony's family has decided what to use the $500,000 in donations to. The money is going to Anthony's legal defense, but also to protect the family. They have had to move out of their home and have faced serious threats in their safety. The fund was created to support their family, to help them relocate, to pay for legal expenses. I can tell you those funds are going to be used properly, he said. The family rep added that he doesn't believe that the Metcalf family is victims, but he clarified that any loss of life is a tragedy. Any child that loses his life is a tragedy, no matter the circumstance. And they kind of reiterated that his bond went down from $1 million to $250,000, and that's kind of where they left it off at. So we now know that they did confirm that they're going to use it for the legal fees. They're going to use it for safety and security to make sure that they're good. Again, that can also make it go pretty quick too, because those legal fees are not going to be cheap.
Legal fees for sure will suck up a lot of that.
And if they hire people to help keep them safe, sometimes those are not cheap either. So again, in certain cases, that money is probably going to go pretty quickly. But yeah, that's just kind of the update that we have here. As again, if we hear anything about the Metcalf family, we'll talk about it, but we haven't heard anything, and that probably will be the case until trial starts.
Yeah.
I guess something else that could probably be covered pretty quick, but Trump announced that his administration struck a trade deal with the United Kingdom. So the first agreement the United States has reached since he imposed sweeping tariffs on trading partners. Under the deal, the UK will reduce non-tariff barriers on U.S. products, including beef, ethanol, fuel, machinery, and chemicals. Trump said the 10% baseline tariff the United States has placed on dozens of countries will remain, while duties on British vehicles will fall from 25% to 10% to match that baseline. On Capitol Hill, the House passed a bill this morning that would codify Trump's order that the Gulf of Mexico be renamed to the Gulf of America. Trump said tonight he will appoint Fox News host Jeanine Pirro as interim U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C., and that was all on May 8th. So about 3 days ago is when all of this happened. So just a couple quick little tidbits. Haven't heard much back from China, although I did have a Twitter article that I couldn't find again.
They're in talks, apparently. We'll probably know more early this week, Monday, Tuesday. But
they are in talks, but they did come out and say China firmly opposes any party that reaching a deal at the expense of China's interests. If this happens, China will not accept it and will resolutely take reciprocal countermeasures, the Chinese Ministry of Commerce said. So they issued a major warning to the world that it will retaliate against countries that cooperate with the U.S. So until a deal is met, that means with the U.K., they're going to retaliate against the U.K. in any way that they have to. So just a couple things happening here. Nothing too crazy. Don't get bent out of shape. But I think he did that with the high tariffs to insinuate giving the opportunity to strike a deal to make it beneficial, because tariffs were already being placed on us as it is. So this is only the right thing to do, to have other countries pay for us shipping things to them as well.
yeah.
So this is just a way to make that happen. So I don't think anyone should really still get bent out of shape just yet, or worry that, small businesses and stuff like that. I have a small business in real estate, but I have other small businesses that I'm starting up too. So you have to.
But it's tricky. Like, you don't really have any products coming in from China. I think that's the tricky part.
Yeah, because what's that website? Alibaba. I think it's kind of similar to Amazon.
Yeah, Alibaba, but are you thinking of the Temu?
No, not Temu. But, actually, they're about to have their own U.S. I think you talked about that.
Temu's not shipping to the U.S. anymore.
Well, no, I can't remember who it was that I was talking to, but they're actually opening up a U.S. version of it. So, you'll be able to have cheap goods, from America as well, shipped in America.
But it makes you wonder where those cheap goods being shipped from, because they're not being made here.
It's probably South America. That's probably my best guess. But yeah, Alibaba is like another version of Amazon. You can order stuff from it, and super, super cheap compared to what you pay for on Amazon. But there's still ways to find cheap stuff on Amazon, though. That's the thing. You just have to really search for it.
Well, the tricky part is where's the cheap stuff coming from? Because you can still buy stuff on Amazon that's made in China.
Yeah. I mean, again, and some of it could be coming from, I'm not saying Canada produces cheap stuff, but it could be coming from Canada. It could be coming from South America, Mexico.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we'll end up seeing, that's a big if, the tariffs hold true, is you'll see companies that may produce it in China, ship it to Vietnam, ship it to Korea, ship it to shell companies that play intermediary, similar to, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole on this, but with the processors and the chips that weren't supposed to be being sold to China by like Nvidia and companies like that. A lot of them were selling them into like Singapore and I think Malaysia, maybe. I could be, it might be misremembering which countries, but they had like China basically has some shell companies in there that they would buy them through there and then funnel them up. So they weren't technically selling them to China. I think we might see that with some cheaper, like the Temu style Chinese goods, but.
I'm glad that they're at least trying to come to a deal, because like I'm actively like, I'm going to be piecing it out little by little, but I want to build a new PC. Probably by the end of this year. Like I want to do a full custom build, but make it like quote unquote future proof. So like I won't have to upgrade anything for like the next like 5 to 10 years, 7 to 10 years. So I'll probably be going with like a 4000 or maybe a 5000 series graphics card. All that kind of stuff. I wasn't necessarily going to do that because I mean, mostly the only game I play when I do game is Destiny. I play very few other games, so to speak, but a banger just happened this past week and we just got a trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yes. Yeah.
And I looked up what the specs are going to be for GTA 6.
Probably something crazy.
My PC won't even be able to handle it. I think the minimum graphics card is the 4000 series.
I feel like, and I'm not going to do this, but I feel like a game like GTA 6, I feel like it almost needs to be played on a console if you truly want to have a smooth gameplay experience.
Console or a PC?
Console, unless you're willing to really shell out and get like a beast of a PC.
So I actually went on to Micro Center and I pieced out, like, granted I'm gonna piece it out little by little.
Yeah.
But my plan is to have probably 5 terabytes of SSD in it, and I say that because I want 1 terabyte just to be just Windows.
1 terabyte's going to be just GTA 6.
Well, they did say that they showed the download on a screen, and it's 300 gigabytes.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, that's not as bad as I was thinking.
But
it's still a lot, though.
It is compared to like Call of Duties and
especially
stuff.
Especially if you have a hard drive that's 500.
Yeah. But the plan is to do maybe like a 5 terabyte because I want 1 terabyte to be just Windows and then maybe like a couple small programs, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And then the other 4 terabytes are going to be games, like just games.
Yeah.
Even though I probably won't use all 4 terabytes, but yeah. So this is what it said. GTA 6 will be, okay, that's false. That is definitely false. That's the minimum requirements. Okay. So the minimum requirements, it says Windows 10, Intel Core i7, 8700K or AMD Ryzen 5 3600, which I'm covered on that. Then it says graphics card, NVIDIA GeForce 1080 Ti or AMD Radeon, which I have a 2070 Super. RAM 8 gigabytes. It says storage 150 gigabytes SSD, but then it says the recommended for it is Windows 11, which I don't have Windows 11 on my PC right now because I heard it's not good for gaming so far.
Dude,
like
I'm locked in with the Windows 10. My PC literally cannot install Windows 11.
Well, no, mine can. I'm choosing not to because apparently it's not good for gaming from what I heard. The processor is Intel Core i9 or Ryzen 5 5900X. The graphics card is an NVIDIA GeForce 3080 or a Radeon 6800, and then RAM is either 32 or 16 gigabytes, and then 150 gigabytes of SSD. They did change the release date. It was supposed to release this year, but they changed it to May 26th.
Yeah.
But they have been coming out with so many posts, and they've already released 2 trailers for it. And the detail for this game, like I'm scared to see what they're going to charge for this game. Like that's my thing. Like
Probably $100+.
People are thinking it's gonna be like $100 to $150 for this game.
I bet it was like $125 for the base.
If it is,
but also you might get a decade's worth of playtime out of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because I stopped playing GTA 5 online because it got dead. But because I played it on PS4, PS4 Pro, all that kind of stuff, I would probably start playing GTA 6 online. Like because I'm starting from scratch, just like everybody else is.
Yeah.
Like, but just the graphics alone on this game, like this looks like it's going to be a banger of a game. And I've always been more interested in GTA for the storyline of the game versus the online gameplay.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine what it's going to be like though. And but they've released 2 trailers for it. It looks amazing. I'm going to wait. I want to see if they're going to do gameplay footage of it. Most of the time Rockstar doesn't really do gameplay stuff for it. very rarely. Like they just do the trailers and they call it a day.
Yeah.
But I've never known Rockstar to release a bad game.
They really haven't.
That's the thing. And even if they've only released like all your single player, like Red Dead Redemption, GTA, Bully. Which I heard that they're trying to do a remake of that. Like they're trying to bring a Bully 2 and it'll be for all the systems and everything.
Yeah.
But I've never known them to release a bad game. So it's like, regardless of what the trailer looks like versus the actual game, I'm probably still going to buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to still be a banger of a game. And the map is supposed to be huge. I don't know how long the storyline's going to be, but I've always been a fan.
1,000 hours.
Honestly, I played Skyrim like 5 times already, and I've platinumed it 1 time. I'd be okay with it being 1,000 hours of gameplay. I would be sad. That would be $125 well spent if that's how much it costs. 100%, and that's without the online even coming out because they're not going to release the online right away.
Yeah.
They never do. They always release the storyline. Everyone does the story, and then it's like 6 months to a year later they release the online, and then they kind of have like a quote unquote miniature story that goes into that as you're building your character out, so to speak. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm planning on buying it next year. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm still going to keep this PC, but I want to do a whole nother build that's just going to be like future proof. That'll be all my gaming stuff. This will be just for recreational or whatever I decide to do with it. So
have you seen any gameplay? I've been watching a lot of Schedule 1.
I watched the whole, like, it was like 20 hours of gameplay for like one of these YouTubers that I watch. And he ended up kind of like pretty much playing by himself a lot of the time. And it looked fun. But once you get to a point where you're making too much money, it kind of just like there's not really a whole lot to do. Like you're just kind of just making money at that point.
We've been watching Markiplier play it with his friends Bob and Wade. Mm-hmm. And man, it looks like a blast. I was looking, it's still only in early access. Like they're still building the game still.
And that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I'd spend $20 on it.
I'm almost tempted to. I think Abby and I are going to start playing it here soon and just see what happens.
Like I thought about it because it just looks fun, but I've seen it now, like on the playthrough that I watched, because I watched it with Cartoons and H2O Delirious and all them. There's a website that you can look up like what the most expensive thing is that you could make, and so and they were already making like pretty expensive stuff beforehand, but after they looked that up, they kind of just like speed ran to the most expensive thing.
It takes some of the mystery out of it.
And so they like I already know like what the most expensive of each of the categories would be.
Man, some of the drug names I've seen so far, absolutely hilarious. Yeah.
And like they're probably going to add more stuff and other areas and different things like that. But it's like once you have like dealers for yourself and you have everything automated, it kind of there's not a lot to do. Like I know that it's still early access, but it's like make it to where it's like you could buy like a mansion, not for production, but you could buy a mansion to go live in. Like I don't know, just they're definitely going to still flush it out and do more stuff for early access. But I'm kind of waiting to see what they're going to do with it first before I just make the decision just to buy it, because Destiny's like I just bought the Year of Prophecy, so Bungie just had their live stream for the year reveal. I already spent the $100 and bought the pre-ordered it, but it's for the whole year though, so it's like I'm paying $100 and I get the 2 DLCs, all the free content, and everything like that. So it's like I've already bought it, and they have a free update thing going on right now for some dungeons and stuff, but I've already bought that, like, because that's like the only game I really spent money on. Like, I never really spent money on anything else, and there's no other games that I care to buy right now, unless it's like an indie game. I've kind of taken a liking to more indie games. I didn't think I was ever going to, but then buying a PC, I was like, oh, this looks fun. Yeah. And I'll spend like $10 here, $20 here. But yeah, I'm kind of just chilling right now.
Nice. So Destiny 2 still alive and well, at least community. Well, I guess it has to be if they're still making DLC for it.
Well, they're currently working on Marathon, which is like their version of their extraction shooter. Okay. And it hasn't been very well received by the Destiny community, but they even come out and said that we're not making this for the Destiny community. We're making this to attract other people.
So they're trying to get like the Rainbow Six crowd or something?
I don't know, but they're not. Their primary focus isn't Destiny players. They've come out and openly said that their primary focus is like people who enjoy PvP, build crafting and stuff like that. And they had the alpha. They're working on the open beta, so I'll probably try it out. But it's only gonna be $40. I don't know if I want to buy it or not. I'm waiting to see kind of what it's all gonna look like in the end before I just buy it, because if I'm gonna buy it, I want to play it. But there's so many like other indie games that I have, like Valheim. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. But
I've heard of it. Yeah,
I enjoy that game, and I'm waiting for the last expand or quote unquote free DLC to come out for it, and then I'm just gonna coast my way going through all of that. But it's kind of one of those things that they're working on that, and they have a consistent player base for Destiny still, like anywhere from like 25 to 40,000 people, like concurrent players. But I was never really gonna get sucked back into it until a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna play Destiny again," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he had to start from scratch on his son, because he got both of his accounts banned.
Yikes!
And so he was playing on his son's account, and then just pretty much took that account over. And so I was carrying him through everything.
Yeah.
And so everything that I'd already done, never had to do again, I was running through it with him. So
nice.
It was fun. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the only thing I still play if I do get to play during the week, just because like if I want to put time into something, it's going to be something like that.
Yeah, and you already have time sunk into it, so that makes sense.
Like almost 3,000 hours.
Oh, just a casual 3,000 hours.
And that's only on PC.
Yeah.
That's not including PlayStation.
Yeah. Man, oh man, oh man.
So enough for the video game talk. Let's get on to some other stuff.
No, it's all good. I got kind of a banger headline.
Yeah, go for it.
A lot of people were like, hold on, what? So headline from the New York Post and a ton of other sources. Headline says, Bush official claims the United States built secret $21 trillion underground city for rich and powerful to live if near extinction event happens. So apparently the federal government has secretly spent trillions of dollars building an elaborate network of subterranean cities where the rich and powerful can shelter during a near extinction event, a former Bush White House official sensationally claimed. About 170 such bunkers have been built across the country since 1998, including some resting beneath the oceans off the U.S. coast. 74-year-old Catherine Austin Fitz told Tucker Carlson during a recent appearance on his podcast, quote, "It's preparation for catastrophe," Fitz said, according to Realtor.com. Fitz, who served as Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under President George H.W. Bush from 1989 to 1990, claimed $21 trillion in taxpayer dollars were funneled into the project between 1998 and 2015. She provided no evidence for her claims, but said a 2017 report from Michigan State University economist Mark Skidmore indicated that much unauthorized spending had been uncovered across departments of defense and housing and urban development during that time. After 2 years of combing through records related to already documented underground military bases, Fitz says she also looked into allegations of a wider bunker network. Comparing her research against the missing cache, Fitz said she was able to make a guess about how many facilities there really are. She claimed the 170 only applied to bases on U.S. soil and around its coastline, alleging that more exist across the world. And the bases are connected by an elaborate transportation system, she added, while claiming they are powered by a secret energy system known only to the military. Quote, "I'm convinced that this energy exists. If you look at a lot of what really fast ships flying around the planet, they're not using classical electricity," she said, in an apparent reference to a spate of bizarre unidentified aerial phenomena supposedly flying around the skies in recent years. Those alleged bases are used not just as doomsday bunkers for the elites, she claimed, but also as places for the government to operate secret operations like a secret space program. Now, the existence of elaborate underground government bases and bunkers is no secret. During the Cold War, the Cheyenne Mountain Complex was built inside a Colorado mountain to serve as a hardened base of operations for various military operations. It is currently used by the U.S. Space Force. And from the 1950s through the 1990s, a bunker intended to house all of Congress in the event of calamity was built and operated in total secrecy beneath the bustling Greenbrier Resort in West Virginia. Fitz, who worked as an investment banker before joining the Bush administration, also floated a number of other outlandish ideas while speaking to Tucker Carlson, including that COVID-19 vaccine had DNA-modifying ingredients and that a shadowy global cabal is trying to use mind control to enslave the world, according to the Daily Mail. Now, to add icing on top of this cake, also from this week, news broke that Mark Zuckerberg confirmed that he is building an underground tunnel on his secretive Hawaiian ranch. And of all people, Theo Von was actually the one that got him to say this on his podcast. So Theo Von, stand-up comedian, borderline celebrity status at this point, has a podcast called This Past Weekend. And on that podcast, Theo Von joked about wanting to dig an underground tunnel. However, he wasn't expecting Zuckerberg to actually say he had one. Quote, "I do have an underground tunnel," Zuckerberg casually admitted. Vaughn, caught off guard, asked, quote, "Do you really? In the United States of America?" Zuckerberg didn't back down, saying, quote, "I have this ranch in Kauai," he said. Quote, "There's this whole meme about how people are saying, I built this, like bunker underground. It's like more of underground storage." I got a quick video right here, and then I'll get your thoughts on this.
I don't even know what I would have. I would have an underground tunnel, even that it came right back up next to where it started.
I do have an underground tunnel.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
In
Well, I have
USA?
this ranch in Kauai. Yeah. Where there's this whole thing where people were like, there's this whole meme about how people are saying I built this like bunker underground. It's like more of underground storage
Bring
type
it up.
situation. But yeah, no, it's
Oh, wow. Zucky got that bunky. What's under the ground is more water, right?
it's basically what you just said. It's sort of a tunnel that just goes to another building.
Yeah.
But
It's a good place to hide a little bit of dope, though. That's what I would
Oh my god.
Tunnel, is your tunnel pretty big, or what's it like?
it's not that big of a tunnel.
Yeah.
It's I made I put a reel on Instagram one day of Priscilla kind of making fun of me playing video games with some friends down there. But it's yeah, no, it's all good.
Mark Zuckerberg has a secret underground base in Hawaii.
My whole thing is like, I know realistically, like, you know, people that have that much money, you have security, you have people like that, but it's like when you look at the amount of people that have that kind of money like that, it's like this compared to the amount of people that live in this country. And so it's like, if there was ever a catastrophe to happen and there's things like this that are even close to the mainland of the country or even the, you know, Hawaii, you have to wonder what those people are going to go through just to get to where you're at, because you've openly come out and said that you now have these underground bases and tunnels and stuff, whether or not you're using it for scientific research, but you have this stuff now, and it's it doesn't bode well for you, because it's like, unless you have the money that you have like this high-tech security system and weapons and self-defense stuff, like cool, great, grand. What if you happen to get down there and the world ends and you come back up? All you have is money. I'm not saying none of these people are smart per se, but they use their knowledge and where their political standing was at. I'm not saying just politicians, but anyone who really has that kind of money, who has an in with politicians. You relied on your money to get your way, like once you got to that level. Now, before you got to that level, you had to use your smarts. You had to, you know, really hone in and focus up. You know, I don't know the whole story behind Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook aside from the movie that came out, but I don't know if that's even accurate. So, like, I don't know. So I'm not knocking him by any means, but you had to have gone through a lot just to get that money. But it's like, at what point did you stop relying on your own brain and just relied on the amount of money you could just throw at something to get to where you want?
Yeah, because you reach such a great level of success, you almost plateau because it's difficult to innovate once you've already innovated.
Exactly.
And I know, like, right now, we're not going to have time to get to it on this episode, so I might bring it up on the next one. Google is kind of having a problem with that right now.
Yeah.
Because they are the end-all be-all of internet search. And they're having a hard time trying to figure out what is that next innovation. Because with the emergence of AI, a lot of people are now turning to a ChatGPT, a Grok.
That's what me and Dana do.
Even Gemini, which is a Google product, but it's not Google search.
Yeah.
And so how do you innovate once you've become the king of the mountain and you basically plateaued?
Yeah. And so that's kind of where, like, the kind of, like, you know, where I was going on that is, like, when you've kind of hit that plateau and all you're kind of doing is just throwing money at stuff. Let's just say the world ends. All these millionaires, billionaires, I don't think there's even any trillionaires. I could be wrong.
I think there are. Just there's people who don't publicly disclose their wealth. There are people like you and I will never know their names.
Exactly. But let's just say that you go down to your bunkers and you survive, you live. You know, think of it like a Greenland movie. Like a meteor comes down, wipes everything out, and people are in this bunker.
Next? No one's going to trade your paper.
Yeah, you're going to come back up, and you're going to be in a world where money doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And all you did was you just stockpiled stuff for yourself and for your family to live maybe for 30 years, maybe for 50 years, maybe for 100 years, so that within you could live and at least your kids could live a full life, and then you pass away. Like, cool, awesome. Other than that, no, like in those types of worlds, if movies have ever taught any of these people anything, currency and money mean nothing in those times, because if you come out of that and it's just a desolate wasteland and there are other people who happen to have survived, it's going to be a barbaric kind of thing. Like, they're not going to have technology like they did before. So it's either going to be, you know, killed or be killed. And no amount of money that you have is going to protect you, because you could be like, oh, I'll pay you this to protect me. What can they do with that money? Nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I'm not saying that, you know, that's just my way of thinking about it. Like, I used to always kind of like think in a sense like, oh, like I like, not saying I was a hardcore prepper, but like I'd stock, you know, buy ammo, but that's just because I go to the gun range, you know, like, so I'd stock up on ammo and things like that. But it's like, if something so catastrophic was to happen that it's going to wipe out everything no matter what, well, the only thing that I would probably be able to survive would be a zombie apocalypse. Like, realistically, if any kind of like Chernobyl natural disaster, meteor, the Yellowstone National Park, something like that, so catastrophic.
Yeah.
Why even try? Like, why even try to survive it? Because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
on a totally different note, one video I saw that kind of went viral this past week. I'll play it for you without comment, and then see what your gut reaction is on this.
let's get it.
It's a Red Lobster commercial from the 1990s.
Red Lobster's new lunch special. Shrimp and chicken, just $3.99. Golden fried shrimp and grilled chicken breast with salad and baked potato, just $3.99 for a limited time at Red Lobster for lunch.
Back when you could get a meal for $3.99.
Bro, I just saw something that relates to this so hard. And I was reading the comments, and people were saying that it's not true. But back in 2000, the median income was $42,000 a year, give or take.
I'd believe it.
And you could buy a house, own a car, pay all of your bills every single month, and still have enough money to go on a weekend trip kind of thing.
I believe that. Yeah.
Like, because the normal price for a house is $120,000. Those houses back then almost look like a lot of the new builds that you see now. Just traditional 3-bed, 2-bath, nothing crazy.
Well, I remember even just like, even in Austin, like actual Austin address, Austin, you could get 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-story home on a decent plot size. And like, it was a cookie cutter neighborhood, but still like decent house, built in the early 2000s for like $175,000.
That's what I'm saying.
That house now is like $350,000, $375,000.
Where did everything go wrong?
2020 and 2021, when we printed trillions of dollars.
No, it happened before that.
You
because
sure?
Even homes were on the uprise of kind of like, I don't want to say over 300,000 because they weren't, but you were about still 250 to 300,000 for a new build house. Like, and that happened well before then. Like, I just because even
because we
2000
printed so much money that you had situations where you had private equity and these hedge funds coming in and buying up tracts of homes. So in a weird way, I'm not going to say it artificially inflated the cost of homes in some of these major urban centers. Like you see it because Dallas Fort Worth not always, historically is typically a hot housing market overall. Like, yeah, there's definitely down periods and recessions and whatnot, but somewhere with Austin, like Texas has been very blessed where other than the oil recession in the 80s and then '08 was still '08, but Texas wasn't hit too terribly hard by '08 compared to like Florida,
y'all
the
had
East
a huge
Coast.
y'all had a huge tech boost too.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely,
like
dude.
for Austin, dude, it was
Yeah.
insane. Dallas, it wasn't really tech. It was more of like
Just the influx of people.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that's literally what it was. And since we're kind of on this topic, but it's like when it like in the article that you read, talking about like we're on the verge of a catastrophe. It's a catastrophe that that they all caused. It wasn't us. What can we do? Like we're just here. So it's like everyone. So the quote unquote leaders of our country and our world, it's because of them. Like we didn't do anything besides just spend the money. But when the median household income, if that was correct, if that video was correct, and it said it was $42,000 a year. According to Dave Ramsey, the median household income now is $39,000 a year. So if that video is correct and Dave Ramsey is correct, how did we go backwards?
If I had to guess, my gut tells me because between 2000 and now, we've seen the gutting of a lot of manufacturing jobs, a lot of those warehouse jobs and factory jobs. A lot of those got offshored, taken outside of the country. So you lose a good chunk of that.
Yeah.
We've had a huge increase of part-time labor rise. We really haven't seen minimum wage rise too much. I think minimum wage for sure in that period has risen up some, not significant, but some. So I think it's probably that. It's probably a mix of it's the eroding of the middle class. I think that's what it is.
So, and honestly, there's still a couple things I want to touch on before we lead off, but I want to ask you this, and I think I've asked you this before, like a year ago when we kind of got into starting this. Do you think the middle class is dead?
No, but I think it is eroding. I think it's still possible, but you have to be much more savvy than decades prior.
Because
I think it's still there. It's not gone. It's not dead. It's definitely less, way less than what it used to be.
So I guess my next question would be then, actually, I don't even know if it's even really a question. This is just kind of a statement. This is kind of my hope. And tell me if I'm, maybe kind of in a potential ballpark, because I know you keep up with a lot of this stuff too. I would love, and in hopes that these tariffs actually, in a way, could bring some jobs back to the country.
Yeah.
Not just straight up Amazon, Tesla, all these other kinds of things. Because
manufacturing jobs,
like legitimate manufacturing jobs that we can start making products over here again. Will it be more expensive? Yes, it will. Will it be a growing pain? Absolutely. But I feel like by having those jobs back over here, people will ultimately demand the accurate amount of pay. I don't feel like people would go above and beyond being like, oh, I want this, knowing that it's not worth that. But it also goes hand in hand too that we're going to have people working those jobs, and people who are 45 or older are not going to want to go to a physically heavily labored job. So therefore, it's going to be people that are younger than us that are going to have to step up and do those jobs, which is going to be easier said than done.
Yeah.
But my hope is that the tariffs will hopefully bring some of those jobs back. We can reopen some of the old factories, reopen some of the old manufacturing aspects, and start selling the products here in the country, which will in turn, start circulating more money, which will cause, because with the whole Doge thing, honestly, like utilize a lot of that money, put that money towards that, don't know how much of it will be available, but when it actually comes full circle, people will actually get paid more, because people living off $40,000 a year, they can do it. We're currently doing it, but it sucks. It does suck because you don't want to have to be picky with your money, but your bill, like every single one of your bills, like, first and foremost, your rent has to come first, because if you don't have a place to live, you ain't got nowhere to put all your stuff.
Yeah.
So your rent has to come first, then your electricity, then your food. Like, I don't want to say like any specific order, but it's like, you got to have the necessities.
Yeah, your essential necessities come first.
Exactly. And you have to mitigate what you can and can't spend money on. And we're also still dealing with the fact that a lot of people haven't paid their student loans. So like, there's a lot of things that are
and
happening.
those are headed to collections now for those who haven't, which is
exactly.
Yeah.
So public service announcement, just be on the lookout for that letter to come in, because they will start garnishing your wages. I haven't had to worry about that. I've been paying mine every single month. Haven't had an issue, but I'm hoping that that's what these tariffs will do. We've been seeing talks and deals being made, and I'm hoping that at some point, even if they just start new manufacturing jobs, don't even bring back some of the old manufacturing, but some of the new things that they're innovating, like Tesla. Like, I know it's not really a new thing, but it's being made in America. Yeah. So it's like, find ways to bring production back here, and in turn we'll hope, because I'll be honest with you, like, they're so heavy on like, oh, fast food chains, we need get rid of the fast food chains. Like, I know that's easier said than done. Get rid of them. Nobody needs the fast food. Nobody needs that processed food in their lives. Get rid of it. If they got rid of that processed food and all these fast food restaurants, but you kept the ones that are like not really fast food, but you can still get it pretty quickly in a sense, cool, awesome. But anything that's like a McDonald's, a Burger King, Domino's, Pizza Hut, get rid of it.
Good luck.
I know, and I know I'm preaching to someone else who understands here, but it's like, it does nothing for us. Like, there's a reason why we're the most obese country out there. Yeah. Like, there's a reason why nobody has the energy to want to do anything. But it's like, this is just, and I'm going to get off my soapbox in a second, but it's just like, there's so many things that could be cut out in this country that we don't need, that if all this stuff was cut out, you could put those jobs into better usage and people could still get jobs making just as good as money. Yeah. Will it be a little bit more physically inducing? Sure. But you're not working for a company who could care less about you. But there's a lot of warehouse type jobs and manufacturing jobs that they will promote you within. There are a bunch of family owned corporations and companies too that you could buy stock in, like different. Like, you can't buy stock in McDonald's. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can, but like,
they're publicly traded. Yeah.
Well, like, that's what I'm saying though. It's like, some companies will provide you, like, they'll match what you put in.
Yeah.
McDonald's doesn't do that for their workers.
Do they not do the 401k match for like management?
Management, they do.
I could totally see them doing that, actually.
But for normal workers, they don't.
Well, if you're part-time,
Well, even full-time. Like, I was full-time with Applebee's, and I didn't even as an hourly manager, when I was a key hourly, I didn't get 401k, and I was working like 50 hours a week.
They will match you 6%, dollar for dollar.
That's more than I thought. Okay.
Yep, that's pretty decent. You have to work at least 30 hours or more per week.
My point being too is, like, I'm not saying places like McDonald's and Burger King don't provide like skill sets.
Do you remember seeing that McDonald's commercial from back in the day? It resurged because it was kind of viral about the kid getting the job at McDonald's.
I just feel like people could learn better skill sets doing other jobs that pay just as much.
Yeah.
Rather than just working at a McDonald's. And I get that they're good for like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, like kids who are in high school. But there's a reason why other jobs still exist other than just fast food restaurants. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Oh, I'm trying to find the commercial I'm in reference to. It's one of those I've seen it countless times, but... Let me see if I can find it. Let me try one more search real quick. That was when Steve Carell was in a McDonald's commercial. Did you ever know that?
I did not know that.
You know who Steve Carell is?
Yes. Oh, I've never seen that.
Just $3 for all this. A triple taste of a McDonald's triple cheeseburger, a large order of fries, and a medium Coke Classic. I can see you're amazed. Who wouldn't be? With a big, beefy triple cheeseburger, a large order of fries, and a medium Coke Classic, all for a mere $3.
So yeah, $3 used to get you a lot more than what it does today.
No.
Oh,
like,
where's
now
that
$3 gets you a large
commercial?
fry.
Yeah,
Not even.
man, I hate that I can't find this commercial right now.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up next time. I'll have to find it. Dang, it's one of those that like I used to always see it. No. Man, what a shame. Anyways, any final things on your side at all before we wrap it up here?
So, I mean, this is the only thing really, but I do want to talk about that Kansas man, the black ring thing that you have. But
Oh yeah,
this is
let me pull that back up real quick then.
The only other thing that I really had was that Amazon bought up. So this is how they're kind of doing it. So let me start at the bottom. This it says, sure, the Austin area is a technology hub, and the tech invasion of the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex has been well documented. But what about South Texas? On the heels of the news that Elon Musk and SpaceX will now have their own city near Brownsville, a global tech giant is planning to create jobs on the South Texas border, nearly of 200,000 people. Amazon purchased a 13.13 tract of land, 575,000 square feet, give or take, at the intersection of Farm Market Road 511 and 550, and Paradise Line Road in Brownsville in April, according to document. Amazon has not made an announcement regarding the purchase or its plans to end Brownsville. Former city mayor Trey Mendez wrote Thursday on Facebook that Amazon is intending to build a distribution center on the property. So they've had it for quite a while. However, less than 2 hours after Mendez's post, current Brownsville mayor John Cohen essentially wrote, "Not so fast, my friends," on Facebook, though he didn't mention Amazon or Mendez in the post. It says Cohen wrote Thursday, at this time, the city of Brownsville and the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation are not in a position to confirm the potential development, but we will release information at the appropriate time. So people were just, making jokes about it. It says, yes, the news of Amazon purchasing the land in Brownsville comes less than a week after billionaire businessman Musk and his SpaceX employees won the opportunity to incorporate their very own city, Starbase. That city will be just 22 east of Brownsville. So nothing's confirmed yet if they're building anything, but let's be honest, they purchased it. Something's going there.
Yeah, they'll probably put a big distribution center there or something.
Yeah.
I imagine. All right, I know you wanted to see. I'll throw a video up here. There's a couple of theoretical explanations for this, but nothing I've seen yet that's like, this is the cause of this. This is a video taken from Kansas. A lot of people have been sharing this. Not really sure what's making this circle in the air here.
So, can somebody tell me what the is this?
Some guy stopping on the side of the road in his motorcycle.
No app. I am on County Road 2 in between State Avenue and K32. And I have never seen anything like that in my life. And it appears that little black stuff is falling down the center of it. That is just weird. And then just to let you all know, I'm not kidding here. This is real. Sorry, that's my phone doing that because it's a piece of crap Motorola. But just so you can see, it's me. And I'm live. And it's starting to dissipate.
It's the circle to the mirror dimension.
It's something.
Look at that. Tell me that is not freaking weird.
But what?
No idea. I've been recording it. It was a dark black circle, and now it's dissipating. I mean, it looks like somebody blew a big old smoke ring.
It looks like the smoke. My first thought back at a distance was, is it a congregation of birds?
Yeah, that's what I thought. But then, because it looked like everything was falling through the center, but now it's just like totally dissipating. But
the fact that it was like so vivid and then just immediately just like went to that, like, yeah.
Can somebody tell me what the is this?
Like, look how vivid that is. And then it just dissipates.
Yeah.
I am on County Road 2 in between State Avenue and K32. And
so Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine as to what the heck this is.
Was there anything in the comments?
Let's take a look.
See if anyone may have said anything. What do you think this is?
Grok, which is the AI, thinks it could be a smoke ring from an explosion or controlled burn.
Of course, the AI is going to think that.
Smoke ring from a transformer explosion. Clearly a NASCAR racetrack. You can hire a smoke machine that makes these for parties. Someone put a poster.
We're going to go with this one.
Yep.
For the sake of Unscripted Company.
Yeah. They do them at Burning Man. It's a machine rental.
But they don't have a Burning Man in Kansas, though. It's in the desert.
I know. This is like out in the middle of nowhere.
Huh. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though. I mean, if it is from like it didn't look like, because even if it was from a transformer, from what people are saying, you would have seen something from that transformer, like still kind of smoke going up to that. So
yeah, you would think, right?
But
you would think.
I don't know. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, for those of you out there who are still watching, first of all, thanks for making it this far. Second of all, what the heck do you think that is in the sky? That's the question of the week for me. Is let me know. Leave your comment down below. What the heck is that? And maybe we'll show some of the best answers in the next episode of Unscripted Company. With that, I don't want to assume anything, Riley, but you got any words of wisdom to end us out with?
Words of wisdom. What would you do in a catastrophic event? It's not really words of wisdom, but what would you do? Kind of want to ponder these questions. What do you think about the fact that they're just openly coming out now saying that pretty much essentially the government has been taking trillions of our dollars and just building underground bases with them? Not in a way that I'm inciting any kind of like violence against our government, but yeah. But at the same time, it's like, how does that legitimately make you guys feel? Like, I'm actually curious because, again, I'm just saying, in 1776, when some people had issues with our government just doing whatever they wanted to do, they decided to do something back. I'm not saying that is on the horizon, but now that this information has come to light, and I'm not saying this is the first time we're hearing about it, because we kind of hinted at this, we knew some stuff, but now Mark Zuckerberg's just out with it. Like, he's being so open about it. So I kind of want to know y'all's thoughts in the comments. Should a raccoon smoke meth? That is a valid question. Yeah, other than that, I got really nothing else as far as words of wisdom. Stay safe. We'll see you guys in the next episode.